Hey guys, hey! Welcome to The Inside Job with me, your host, Ayana. Come with me as I sit with some of the most passionate, purpose-driven individuals as they share stories to encourage and empower us, leaving us with little gems to help us shine on our journey to success.
Hey guys, hey! Welcome to the season premiere of The Inside Job. First off, I want to thank you, all my viewers from season 1, so much for your support and encouragement. You have helped take this season 2, to the next dimension. In this season, we're going to have singers, actors, dancers, business owners, professors, serial entrepreneurs, and young people with a vision like myself, well, minus the young people part, but people who are just starting off on their journey to success. Another thing that you will notice is that there will be a shift in from season 1, where my focus was more on the profession and corporate society's formula to success. And for this season, I'm going to delve deeper into the life of the individual and uncover their secret recipe to success with 3 key main ingredients. The first one is position. The second one is passion. And the third one is your purpose. So now that we got that intro out of the way, today, I could not think of a better person that embodies all the qualities of season 1 and season 2 combined than my big sister, Dr. soon to be, Janet Elizabeth Douglas-Pryce. Now, she has a professional bio that reaches from here in London to where she is in New York City. And I will go into all of that and make notice, mention that in my promotional materials. But in lieu of this season and what it's all about, the individual, I am going to say what she means to me and why I wanted her to premiere season 2 of The Inside Job. Number 1, she is an encourager. If you ever feel down and out and you have a defeated attitude, she is the person to call. In fact, her number is 917. She will kill me. She is also a fashionista. She doesn't follow trends. She creates them. I remember one time when she had on this lovely necklace, and it was actually some flowers from her vase that she took together and made this necklace, and everybody loved it and everyone wanted to get it, but it was an original, one of a kind, just like she is. She is a professor. So whether she's in the classroom or not, people always come to her to be educated and enlightened. And lastly, she is an unconditional lover. She loves God and her faith, her husband, children, family, and friends, all unconditionally. And most of all, she is my big sister. So please join me in officially welcoming Janet Elizabeth Douglas-McDonald-Keisha-Pryce to The Inside Job, minus those 2 middle names I just mentioned. Welcome, Janet. Welcome to The Inside Job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For premiering.
Thank you so much for having me on The Inside Job. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your online medium for sharing the information to others, and now you're in season 2, so this is awesome. Congratulations to you again, and also thank you for that warm introduction, but as always being the sweet sister that you are and promoting all my assets and covering the not so good part. Thank you. You're awesome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, before we get into the present life of the passionate and purpose-driven Janet, let's go back in time to baby Janet.
Mm-hmm.
For those of us who don't know you, give us some background information on who you are, where you're from, and just one or two events that helped to shape the Janet that we are going to get to know today.
So, like baby Jesus, okay, just kidding. I grew up in a manger. I did not. But my formative years started in the Caribbean, in the beautiful island of Jamaica. And I would categorize my life as one that was filled with love and kindness. I grew up in an environment where the villagers, my grandparents, also shared the responsibility with my mom in caring for me. And some of the things that stood out to me, as I can recall, was school was a very big part of my life, and I enjoyed it immensely, so much so that I would come home and teach the cats, the trees, anything in sight. I'm always reciting what it is that I learned at school and hoping that I could edify them and make them better. One prominent moment that I can think of was when I was in what would be the equivalent of kindergarten in the United States. They called it grade school. And being on the stage was not something that was unfamiliar to me. And so I was standing or elevated on a chair and singing, "He's got the whole world in his hand, he's got the whole wide world." And a passerby on a motorbike stood outside of the school and heard me singing. And after I was done, he actually came into the school and made a donation. I don't know the quantity of what he contributed, but I know that he gave it because he saw and heard this little girl elevated on a stool or a chair singing jubilantly this song. And so that was one thing that stood out. But as I continued my academic journey, I realized that I loved school and always competed to be at the top of my class in everything that I did. And the stage somehow played a major role. I was athletic, played sports, named them all, I participated. But it was my involvement representing my schools at a speech contest. And so I represented my school. And to prepare us, one of the things that happened was my teacher would take us to different venues so that we could get accustomed to a range of audiences. And the police station was one of those places. She took us to the police station and we stood up in line, each of the participants, and we would do our recitation in front of them. And what that did, it gave us more courage so that when we went on a national level to represent our school and we're in front of thousands of people, it would really not be a big deal anymore because we had had a lot of time practicing. And so that was big for me. And finally, before I left the Caribbean and moved to the States, I was the head of my house. So they used to categorize the students into groups. And so they call them houses. And in the United States, they'll call them teams. And so I was in charge of Patton House. I was in the 5th grade at that time, and I was a girl captain. And my responsibilities were to make sure all my teammates were lined up for morning, I guess not devotion, but they would call it meetings or greetings. And this was assembly, so morning assembly, and there were rules. Uniforms had to be properly attired, students had to be punctual, and so we'd earn points based on how we were able to galvanize our team and meet all the quotas. So for me, growing up in that environment, I knew early that school was an access card. It didn't matter what your status was. When it came to school, you can use that as a key to unlock many doors. But it wasn't a pressure for me to attain or to pursue it. It was really a love and a joy. And not only did I want it for myself, but I also wanted to pass it on and help others to unlock many doors to opportunities. And so I think that helped me to become who I am today, those formative years in the Caribbean.
So pretend that I'm the police officer
Mm-hmm.
One of those police officers. What did you recite? What did you say? What was part of your?
So I'm trying to think, I'm trying to remember one of the poems that we did, and I'm going, good Lord, I cannot
Like 50,
recall.
not that
But
far back.
well, we weren't, because we didn't have to speak and the forum was already established for us, they were seated. And what we would do is each of the participants would just go up and say, my name is Janet, and I wasn't Janet Douglas-Pryce, but I was just Janet Douglas. And today I'm here to do my recitation. And then after we do that initial introduction, then we would have another opportunity to go back up again without introducing ourselves, because at the competitions, we already introduced, and we would just come up and we would take our position. And so having drama was important. You had to gesticulate. You also had to use vocal variety to bring alive what it is that you were saying. And when you speak, you had to speak with such passion and get the people involved in what it is that you were saying. And so it was that opportunity where you just got into character and you wheel them in to what it is that you were saying, create interest. And when you were done, they were like, wow, that was amazing. That was pure adrenaline.
Now you just said, did you say gesticulate?
Gesticulate.
That word. Okay.
So all the gestures that you use. So the Italians use their hands, and you can see there's a little bit of Italian in me because my hands are being used in this conversation.
I don't know what you mean. Now you've painted such a wonderful and gesticulous
You're making up
your origins, and with some of the events that helped to shape you today. I wanted to shift now and not focus on present. We will get there, but focus on that middle stage, because in the middle, that's really where you get a lot of your challenges. In the beginning, we're all excited. We have the goals, we have the action plan, we have everything. But it's in the middle where the challenges come, and a lot of times we fall down and we don't pick ourselves back up. And before you know it, you're defeated and you quit. So can you remember a time in your life when you were striving for a particular goal and you had some challenges right there in the middle that made you feel like quitting? What were some of those challenges and how did you overcome them?
Now, when you talk about challenges, I've learned to look at these opportunities or these moments. I call them moments, teachable moments that I've experienced in my life. And so when I reunited with my mom in the United States, she lived in an apartment with two bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and we used to host guests whom she was an entrepreneur. So Airbnb hadn't started just recently, but she had the billing on that long time, or the template. And when I was just about close to maybe the same year, few months, maybe around April-ish, my home burnt down. And I was just at the cusp of completing my middle school education, advancing to high school. Now, what that did was it shifted my home environment because I was displaced until my mom was able to procure new accommodations. And so when I thought about it, where we lived, we were above a business. And the business burnt down to the ground. And other businesses on the side also were affected by the incident. And when I thought about it, how I escaped that fire, because when I say everything was flat, it was flat. And my mom had to jump through the window to escape, and I barely made it out on the stairs before it caved in. And so this is in the middle, because now we're talking about my teenage years. So that was one. And I still made it to high school and pursuing education, because as I told you, education was a big part of my life. So overcoming that fire, we had to relocate to a whole new neighborhood that I had grown up in this environment. I knew the people. And so I had to move farther away from where I was into new terrain, different people. And it was not always pleasant, but I taught myself how to assimilate into the environment, build friendships, and continue on my journey. Then you asked for one, I can give you more. While I was in high school, and I'm just about almost there, I was in the 11th grade, my mom got sick. And she got progressively ill, whereby I had to now seek employment to help to sustain us during this time. And I'm thinking, everyone is applying to college, to go away to college, to take all the qualifying exams to procure a better future in college. And here I am thinking about how I'm going to pay the bills, because now my mom is sick and she's not working. And I didn't tell anyone that my mom was not well. I was trying to figure it out all on my own for 1 year, until it got really bad that I had to actually reveal this information to others to say, you know, it's becoming a little overwhelming and my mom is very sick, and get the proper help that she needed. But at that point, I had to learn how to fend for myself by seeking employment. I almost did not go to college. I was going to abort the whole college experience and not apply, but somehow 2 weeks before school opened, I decided to file that college application, and only a few schools at that late point was actually accepting applicants. And I enrolled in college. So talk about, I almost gave up. I could have given up when my house burned down. I could have given up when my mom got sick, but I still pursued my education, and I graduated from college. And then I went on to graduate school, still in the middle. And then guess what? Not maybe 2 weeks into graduate school, my mom died on Valentine's Day. And a few months rather, before I got married. So here I was planning a wedding, just started graduate school, and now I'm planning a funeral. These setbacks, or moments, I'd like to call them, have helped to shape me into who I am today, because I've learned how to be resilient. I've learned, in essence, what the word tenacity means. It means that when you struggle, and the struggles do come, that instead of throwing in the towel and quitting along the wayside, you go within, you go deep within yourself. If you have faith, you go to your God and you learn how to pray. And if you have good friends and a support system, you rely on them. Just like in the marine life, they use the lifesaver on boats to help to preserve you when you're in the water and you feel as if you're going to drown. I've been blessed to have some lifesavers in my life, including you and others, to help me to go through those moments, so that I'm here today, I'm still standing, not because I did not experience setbacks or moments, but because I had purposed it in my heart that I was going to excel, and comes what may, I am still going to thrive. And by doing so, my life can become a testament to others, that when you feel as if all hope is gone and your world is shifting and things are coming apart, that there's still hope. Don't give up, keep on pushing, because then you become a model for someone else's success or their advancement. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, yes, and then some. Did I mention she also has a book that's going to be titled something with purpose driven and not giving up?
Degrees of Purpose. I'm working on.
See?
I'm working on something called Degrees of Purpose, because I realize that purpose is not just one thing; it's multiple things. But go on.
And you're segueing right into my next question, and it is, how did you find your purpose, and what steps did you take to walk into it?
See, purpose is a unique word because many times I think people ascribe the meaning of purpose to your profession. Sometimes they use words as your calling. Other times it seems as if it's that one thing and only one thing. But through my experience, I've learned that purpose is multiple things, or I would like to call it degrees of purpose. So when I was about maybe 14-ish, I had this impression on my heart that I should accept the call to speak to people, but not just in the competitive way that I used to represent my school in giving speeches and participating in speech contests. I even did that for Toastmasters through the company that I was working for. I represented my job in doing that, but it wasn't that calling. At 14, I embraced the call to be a representative for the Lord. And by doing so, I wanted to learn the theological meaning behind the words that were in the Bible so that I could extrapolate from it information that can address the spiritual needs of others. We cannot neglect that we are physical, body, soul, and spirit. And so no matter what, we need that nourishment. And so we're into food that will feed the body. And at the time at 14, I wanted to be the representative that would be the culinary expert in feeding the soul. And that's where the theological component came into being. And now 14, I'm thinking, Janet, all your friends are doing other stuff that 14-year-olds do. What do you want to do? And so I accepted. And then through these youth church services, I started to speak, and I would get up and I would learn a scripture and I would interpret it and share these words of knowledge, words of wisdom to parishioners and members of my group, and they were impacted by it. And that helped to cultivate a setting for me in that atmosphere, in that community. But outside of that, I realized that it wasn't just to bring spiritual upliftment to people, because sometimes you'll meet groups of people who don't share your faith, but they still need more. But the fact that I said yes, it meant that I could be flexible in how I reach and connected to people. So my purpose was more than speaking. My purpose was now connecting. What I've learned is that you are designed with purpose in you already. For example, this glass case, right? Its purpose was designed to hold my glasses. And so the designer did not just make it and without any particular use. Now, mind you, it is designed with purpose to seal and to protect my eyewear. But maybe I will get creative and put something else on it and use it for another use. It doesn't mean that the purpose for which it was created or designed is null and void. And so what I've seen is that I have power in my voice. I have power in my influence because of how I treat people. I believe in treating people with kindness. I believe in loving people. And I believe in making my life become something that will add value to someone else. And by doing so, I believe that is another part of my purpose. I don't have to speak to you from a pulpit to fulfill purpose. But if I today write you a little note to say, I'm thinking of you, how are you doing? Or I don't know you well, but I remember hearing you say this, and I offer you a word of encouragement, I believe that is purpose. And so by being purposeful and experiencing degrees of purpose, I live my life with intentionality. And so at 14, I said yes to be a vocal representative in a pulpit platform. But as I've progressed beyond 14 and have widened my circle, I've realized that my purpose fills many roles, or it materializes itself into many roles. In the classroom, it's me looking at a student and seeing beyond their aptitude to say, something is not right. Are you okay? It's for me to see a student walking in 25 degrees with a little jeans jacket on and wondering, why is it so cold? Feels like it's 3 below zero and you have on a little jeans jacket. And the student says, you know, that's all my mom can afford right now. It's hard. It's where I can come home, look in my closet, see that I have a new coat with a tag that I've never worn, pack it in a bag, bring it to school and said, here, I have this coat for you. I don't want you to feel any way, and I think it's your size. If you don't mind, I would love to share it with you. That's purpose, that's intentionality. And I think that's what I want to leave you with today, that it's beyond using my voice. It's beyond being there. It's more about looking beyond the physical, recognizing that you have a need. And if I have the resources on hand, I give it to you. If not, I know of others that have it and I want to share it with you. And I think that's my purpose in life, to help to make this world better by being my authentic self.
And if you cannot tell, she is a professor. If you did not figure that out by her elaborate and wonderful response, I thank you. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from you. And, you know, we've been about, 5-10 minutes into the interview, probably just her first sentence. You can tell she's using words. I don't even remember them. I think extrapolate, something about gesticulus and some other things. And so this is the perfect question for you. If you could add a word to the dictionary, what would you add and what would it mean?
Okay, so I think I've been thinking about this a little bit, because Merriam-Webster's dictionary, they usually take words and include them or induct them into their word wall. And maybe one day I could be a contributor. I thought of 2 words. First, glossophobia is the fear of public speaking. And I am careful about what it is that we put into the environment. So I would probably want to put on glossophobia. And by on glossophobia, it means that I do not have a fear of public speaking. Because, you know, when you look at public speaking, it is ranked number 2 after the fear of dying. And so some people would rather die than actually speak in public. And if I can give my students some kind of assurance that it doesn't have to overpower them or overcome them, then I would want them to say that I am unglossophobic, meaning that I am not afraid of speaking in public. But recently I started this online platform called CanOpusChats. And I am looking at the word canopus, and it only appears as a noun, which means it's the brightest star in the southern constellation of Carina, and it is the second brightest star in the night sky after Sirius. So I thought to myself, maybe I could do CanOpusChats, maybe? And so, well, if I did CanOpusChats, then it would mean full of light or brilliant. So it would be another word that means brilliant. CanOpusChats. and I like how it sounds. And so I'm going to play with it a little bit and write it down. And it would be another word to epitomize or to represent one's brilliance. A nice adjective.
My word would be fabulous, fantastic, and fabulous, all in one.
Work of fantastic.
You, boo-boo, just like you. Now, let's shift. You kind of segued into that again. It's like you're reading my mind. Let's shift to present day. We're going to focus on one of your new positions, and that is the motivational speaker and talk show host of the new YouTube sensation, CanOpus, hopefully I'm saying it right, Chat. Now, this series just birthed in July, but for how long have you been pregnant with this dream?
When we talk about pregnant, you bring me back to childbirth. I have two. I don't want to go back there. But in terms of my giving birth, as you have used, or launching CanOpusChats, this has been in me. And it goes back to what I said to you about purpose being there, because the seed has been planted, and maybe over the years it has been germinating, being watered through the different events and activities that I've participated in. And so when I was teaching more classes in the physical realm, because right now I am mostly in the online realm, so in that modem or that setting is where I am most of the times, I realized that the students that I meet in the online settings do not always get the full essence of me in real time that the face-to-face students would get. And that is that the online setting can become static, because we're talking about asynchronous. So I can put a video up, or I can write notes and I'll say to them, do this, do that, but I give them a window for them to get it done. When I'm in the classroom, the setting is more dynamic, and I'm able to look at the students to see if something is out of sort. They get to feel more of my personality. I get to feel more of them. And so it's a different experience, if you may. So that would be one thing. And I felt that by creating this platform, it would allow me to reach a wider audience, because if I have 75 students per semester, and we're talking about 2 semesters, 150 students, so in that case, I am relegated only to this. And one student said to me last semester, he said, Ms. Price, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I just want you to know that you're bigger than this. And I said, bigger than what? And he said, you're bigger than the classroom. He goes, you're great. And we are all here looking at you going, oh my God, because I would look at them and I would see things and I would talk to them about it. And like, how do you know that? But I would do more than that. I would give them tools. I would give them information that would help them to address what it is that they were facing. And when that young man said to me, you're bigger than this, Miss Price, all that said was, I am confined in a room that fit the Manhattan spacing, but I needed to be in a space that would allow me to expand and share information to a wider audience that would make them better. And so the idea has been there for a long time, but I think timing is everything. And in this season, I think it's the right time. And as we go through COVID, I saw that more people needed a platform. They needed someone that can bring information to them. That's what's going to make a difference. And so I wanted the information that I share at CanOpusChats to inspire people to do more today so they can live better tomorrows. And it could be because they have an idea and they wanted to quit, but when I present someone to them and they hear the person's story, it motivates them to do better. And so over the years, I've been planting these seeds and helping people, and this medium will help me to connect to people in various parts of the world whom I might not be able to reach just by being in my classroom or being in the circles that I have cultivated over the years. So it is a platform that allows me to expand and to share more of me with a wider group of people.
Great. And it's out now. It airs, a new episode is airing on Tuesday. Is that right?
Correct.
All right, so every Tuesday. Now, when our executive producer heard that you were going to be on the show, he said, I have a question. I have to ask Janet. Janet.
No.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, this is going to be a thought-provoking question. I'm sure no one has ever asked her anything like this. So when he said that, I said, let me take a look at it first. I want to make sure it's appropriate or it's not too personal. And I did take a look, and he is right. And I said, Janet loves a challenge. She loves a challenge. So
I have a challenge for you. I have a challenge for you too. Go on.
Look at that. See, now this is big sister. She coming on the show and she's trying to give me a challenge while I'm giving her one.
Go for it.
Executive producer, hurry up. We don't have all day now. Your time isn't free. AKA Declan.
Fighting my way through it.
Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
Good. Yeah, no, my one question, it's a big one, but it's what do you do for fun?
For me, interacting with people is fun.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so when people think about cooking or going out, they think about eating. But I don't see eating like that for me. I do like food, and I like to eat certain types of foods. But when I bring food into the space, it's because I want people to be there, and I like people. So being around people, good people, let me be specific, good people, for me, that's fun. And when I talk to people, it brings something. I heard Oprah said that, when she had her talk show, that just being in the presence of the audience did something to her. And I realized that when I talk to people, it helps them. But for me, when I'm learning new things, I go on the experiences and the journey, that's fun. I'm athletic. I play paddleball. I don't run as much as I used to. I jog. That's fun. And if you get me on a good day, I'll play any other sports that you like, except for tackle. Don't touch me football, though. I don't do tackle football. But I could do this. I could do soccer. I do a lot of other recreational things that are fun related. At the end of the day, I enjoy long walks by the water.
Me too, girl. And horseback riding.
It's a solace that goes beyond my favorite dish. And for me, that's enjoyable. So it varies. It's not just one thing, Declan. It's a multiple of things, but people play a role. I enjoy my company, being by myself, but playing word games. Word games are great. And I've been doing Sudoku because I wanted to challenge myself. It's more on the math side. And I figured, let me leave the word game alone for a little bit. Sudoku. So I just,
move into the numbers.
It's all about strategies too.
That's true. That's really good. Now, it's good to have a broad kind of variety of things, isn't it, as well, like keep you entertained, and keep your mind ticking.
Well,
yes.
Food. I thought you were going to say food as one of them, because I know you like to go to different restaurants.
Listen, I just researched the first Black Michelin star chef. In Michelin's rating, because of course I do like food, but food for me, as I said, it's more about the unification and the coming together of people. So for me, food is more socialization than consumption. I like pretty, aesthetic foods, yes, and I like the ambiance, but really it's when I have my family and friends and the people whom I like in my presence, and I watch them eat and enjoy, that is pleasurable to me. But back to the Michelin star, of the rating for all these restaurants. I had made a quest. I've been on a quest to try out all the Michelin stars restaurants in New York. Now, I started that journey about maybe 3 years ago, and I've been just going to different one, experiencing them. And it dawned on me the other day, I said, Janet, how many Black Michelin star chefs are there? So I was like, I know the Morimotos and I know all of these other groups of people, but I said, this industry is not as diverse. Let me do some investigation. I found one, and she got the star last September. Maria Ramos, and she was in Chicago doing a Japanese restaurant. And I just found out in its 93 years of existence, a starring rating and all over the world, she was the first one. Wow. And there were 2 Black men who were from, I think, in the French culinary area, but in all its history. So I had to find her. I found her on Instagram and I started following her. She took a break. It seemed as if the pressure got to her, so she and her husband just left. And she's been on a tour. So that's interesting for me. But in terms of fun, I let my hair down and talk to people and play word games. So if you want to play me in Words with Friends, I'll accept your invitation. Jan's rule. I won't do jiu-jitsu, though. I won't do that. I want to hit my face, so no.
Sweat and they smell all over. No.
Hopefully I don't smell. But...
No.
That's like hot yoga. Hot yoga. I was just talking to 2 colleagues of mine Friday, and we were talking about yoga. So I was saying, part of my workout, I was running in the park, but I'm just light jogging and to try to do my 5 miles. And then I will alternate with doing some yoga after. But I said, you know what? I'm only with the vinyasa flow right now because I tried hot yoga. And I could not deal with the noxious smell that would come from these people, whether it was early in the morning or late in the evening. So I said, oh no, I can't, I'm sorry. It's like I abandoned that idea, no more, sorry.
I think that's gonna happen right now with coronavirus and everything. Hot yoga.
Well, yeah, YouTube is happening, but I won't smell them, but my room won't be heated at 105 degrees, so no.
All right. Do you have anything else?
Yes, Mr. Executive Producer, what do you have for me?
Oh, I do like that title. Yeah, I've got one more. So you were talking about your Michelin star restaurants and going out for dinner. And so my other question is, if you could meet any living person or any person, living or dead, for dinner, who would you pick and why?
That's a great question. Let's see. Living. Nelson Mandela is deceased, but he had, I would call him a silent giant, if you may, because through his actions, he helped to bring apartheid out of South Africa and to unite the country. Being in prison or incarcerated for so many years can, people in every day experience challenges that make them, instead of better, it makes them bitter. But he became better. And there has to be a quietude within a person for them to be treated that way and to still emerge with such solace and still a love for people that, to me, that's amazing and touching. And I would really love to hear more about how did he overcome. And there's a poem, I think, Invictus, that is spoken, read, And I think it helps to tell his story. Don't ask me to quote it. I don't remember the words to it, but it's definitely played in the movie Invictus with Morgan Freeman. And my friend who was part of a sorority, she said that they had to learn that poem, and it's many stanzas. But I would love to hear of his quietude and how he morphed and developed while being incarcerated, because we enjoy freedom. And he was willing to sacrifice his freedom so that the masses could enjoy their freedom. I would love it. Alive, I would love to sit with Oprah Winfrey. I believe she's going to interview me one day. And I've always said it's not because I did something bad, but it's because sometimes she brings on the infamous because of people want to hear, and she doesn't have that medium anymore per se. So in a quiet chat with her around her kitchen table, or her around in her kitchen or island as she's preparing a meal, I would love to talk to her about the work that I am doing in helping women to transform into the persons that they are destined to be outside of the roles that society has already ascribed onto them, but for them to walk into their purpose and the degrees of their purpose as they go along. So I would love to just sit down and chat with her in her master class or something like that. And we can definitely go to Del Posto or maybe a Maria or depending on where we're meeting. So I'm speaking New York, but I'm sure I could go to Chicago and to check out one of the places. I hope that answers your question. So I gave you 2, sorry.
Yes, yeah, no, definitely did. And I'll leave Ayana to finish.
Wait, who would you sit with?
Ah.
Be smart. Pick your wife.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll definitely.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
I don't know. Funnily enough, so I was thinking about this earlier. And I jokingly I said, I would sit with like the Notorious B.I.G. just because he's my favorite rapper of all time. He'd be pretty awesome. But I do feel that, like following your Nelson Mandela one, that it seems like a bit of a weak choice.
No, not at all. Because
I think actually, like genuinely, I think I would love to sit with like Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I've read like so many books by Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
I always find that politically he was like, what's the best way to put it? He was a bit more kind of like aggressive, like compared to some of the other campaigners at that time. I think his kind of attitude in the way that he kind of tackled like the media and individuals that he didn't agree with was quite aligned with kind of something that I appreciate, if that makes sense, just in the way that he carried himself. I love listening to like his old speeches, The Ballot and the Bullet, and things like that. So yeah, it'd be great to be able to sit down and speak to him, I think. But failing that, definitely I'll sit with Biggie.
You can bring Sean. You can bring Sean Connery to the party too, because that accent of his is just amazing.
That's it, and yeah, he's still around. So yeah, Sean Connery could be.
Yeah, we can bring Sean Connery to the party. He's still on my list of favorite actors. So I'd want a consortium of them, a group of them with Sean Connery, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. And well, mine not as deep. I would have my mother. And reason being, if my mother's at the table, then that means that food is amazing, so I don't have to worry. And mommy, she is one of the funniest women I know.
I see. That's what I thought you were going to say. Her jokes, she's going to make me
good food, excellent food, funny jokes. That to me, that's all I need.
That's the recipe for life, honey. You have it down packed. And you forgot about fabulous, because she's going to come with style. So, you know, all those F's. Fun, fabulous, and fantastic food. Now bring her, please. My tummy's
yes. Now, you know, in closing, normally when I close, I'd always end with in 15 seconds or less, tell me what your biggest takeaway is. But for season 2, in 15 seconds or less, this is how I normally close. Tell me what your biggest takeaway would be. But for season 2, we're doing something different, something brand new. We're gonna do a game, and it's gonna be called Mind Your Peace. And the rules of this game, it's quite simple. I have been on your social media platforms, and I've taken 5 random pictures from various stages in your life. I want you to blindly pick one. I am gonna have it numbered. Just pick one of them. And whatever one you pick, just give us a little background about what the photo is. And then tell us what stage you were in your life in terms of minding your peace. So for example, if the picture that you chose, it was you in college studying, it could be, I didn't even know what my purpose was at that point, you know, or maybe my purpose was just to graduate. Or at that point, I was passionate about liberal arts or something along those lines. So just tell me where you are at that stage and if you are even minding your peace. Sounds good? Understand? So here are the numbers.
I'll take number 3. I'll take number 3.
No, oh, great. I was hoping you would pick that one. If you can see it, can you see it?
So that means I can't see, but I know which one it is. It's me in the green top, and I probably have one of my kids. Okay, yep.
There you go.
So that was, put it down now. That was one of the children's birthday parties. So we just looked at one of those pictures. So in terms of minding my purpose, as I said, purpose does not go. It was you came into this world with purpose. But because I believe in degrees of purpose, and your purpose can be tied into your role, when I accepted the responsibility of marriage, I asked my spouse if he wanted children. And when he said yes, I agreed to becoming a parent, because raising a family was not necessarily my personal goal. But understanding that we were in a partnership, I realized that partnership helps to bring forth purpose. And so I said yes to parenting, and and so in celebrating my children's birthdays with them, it was a party for 4. And
3 and then some.
What I believe as a parent is simple. My children did not ask to be here. It was an agreement between their dad and I. And so I have purposed it in my heart to become the best parent that ever existed on the planet. And that comes in investing in them in all aspects of their life, whether it's commemorating their birthdays, teaching them their alphabets, or procuring opportunities for them. So at that point, I was living out my purpose of being a parent and celebrating and cultivating memories at a small birthday party.
Was I there?
Hope that helps.
Maybe. You know, thank you so much again for being on the show. And
thank you for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. Welcome back anytime. And I think the theme throughout this show, it's just words, really big words.
Try to simplify it. I didn't even introduce any.
I'm just kidding. No, it's not. I like to bug her with that because it's so funny. I remember we were doing this, supposedly doing this thing where every day she goes, okay, every day we'll do a new vocabulary word. And then
Yeah.
that turned into every week. And then never again. I think she just started doing it on her own, and she gave up.
Yes. But I have people now who actually seek me out and ask me if I want to participate, if I can help them to build their vocabulary. And so I was trying to see, I'm looking to see.
One of those people, clearly.
Not
That's
you,
what she's
no.
trying to say.
Not you. But I was looking for the book to show you, because there is one. Okay, there's Grammar Girl is right there, but I was looking for the vocabulary builder. It might be in the living room, and there's a CD-ROM over there to the right. But it's fun. But in all essence, what I do is I send them to Merriam-Webster's dictionary on the website, and so it has a word of day. And in terms of a word of day, it shows you the etymology of the word, the usage of the word, and it's fun. So what I used to do with my students, I used to let them introduce a word as if it was a person. And so just like how you introduced me to your audience, I would allow them to pick a word that they like. So parsimonious. Parsimonious sounds really great on the tongue. And I would have them tell me, where did the word come from? What's its origin? Is it French? Is it Latin? And then they had to create a story. So parsimonious met with this on a trip, and parsimonious would not release the funds to buy this because it thought it was not the right thing to do, save the money. So you stingy person, parsimonious. Anyway, so I don't do that.
She is, right? She cuts off my end because she's so excited about vocabulary words that she had to throw in parsimonious because she never said it before throughout this whole interview. So she got it in there. That's how much she loves words, almost as much as me. Okay, maybe she loves the words more than me. But she loves words, but
you know, there's no comparison.
I know. But as I was saying, you know, in terms of words, and words are important to you because words are powerful, and there's a meaning, as you just gave an example, behind the word. Now, you know, I remember when I was probably 20, it's like last year, and I was still in college, and I had this job, and I was very excited because it was like my first real job. And also the woman, it was an African-American woman, Christian woman, 39 years old. I was like, oh, you know, this is great. This could be a potential mentor. And she ended up not liking me. I don't know if she felt threatened, because anybody who knows me, I just come and I do my job. That's it. I might look fabulous, but that's not my fault, right? That's my mom. My mom made me that way. But seriously, and when I was leaving, she said to me that you will never make it. And if anyone knows me, the best way to have me do something is to tell me that I cannot do it. And so for a person like me, that was motivation, right? It made me do it. However, I never forgot those words. And obviously, I still remember those words. But what I'm saying is, words, yes, it's powerful. You might not forget it, but you have the authority to dictate how much power that word has over you. So although she said that I would not make it, I took it in reverse. And all I heard is, you are going to make it. You are going to be a success in life. And in my opinion, thus far, I'm still growing, but I was a success in life. And what I'm saying to everyone out there, we've said many words, we've joked, but words are powerful. However, the power is in your hand. You have the authority to decide how much power that word has over you and your life in pursuing your purpose, you know, your passion and your position in life. So I want to thank you all again for watching the Inside Job last season, coming over to this season. I thank Professor Janet Elizabeth Douglas-Pryce, soon to be Dr. Price, for coming on the show, for the executive producer, for making a guest appearance with his, you know, thought-provoking question. And like I said, you know, If you're watching, tell your friends, your family, your cat, your dog, your neighbor, everybody, tell them to watch The Inside Job. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, God bless and have a wonderful rest of the day. See you soon. Bye.